Welcome friends to the 2023 Toyota Prius Hybrid Review. This is a fully redesigned product and it's pretty obvious by the way that this car looks. This new Prius is a spicy looking product. There is not really a bad angle anywhere on this car. It has a sleek and stylish profile to it, and because we have the limited trim level, which is the fully loaded Prius Hybrid, we have these 19-inch wheels. Okay, there's 3 trim levels with the Prius Hybrids. You have the base LE, then you have the mid-trim XLE, which is what I recommend, and then you have the fully loaded limited like you see here, and it's around $37,000. I really don't think that the limited is necessary. I think the XLE is perfect, and that's going to set you back $32,000. And the XLE will still get the same stylish 19-inch wheels that we have here with this limited. They're basically both going to look identical, the XLE and the limited. So that's good. And comment below, let me know your thoughts regarding the styling of this new Prius. This design language that you are seeing is going to be applied to more Toyota products moving forward in the future. So if you like it, great. But what really sets this new Prius apart is, I guess, the motives behind this car. Obviously, this is no longer the weird, awkward looking car that it once was, with fuel economy being the maximum priority. Fuel economy is still amazing with this car. I'll talk more about that during the driving segment. But as you can see from the styling, this car is a little bit lower now, has a lower center of gravity, and driving dynamics has now taken a larger priority here, and it has made a huge difference. So let's go ahead and let's transition into that driving segment now. All right, we have here a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine mated to a lithium-ion hybrid battery pack. And this car genuinely does move very well. The 0 to 60 time has decreased dramatically compared to the previous generations. This vehicle is now doing 60 in about 7.2 seconds. You can also get this Prius Hybrid as a all-wheel drive model, and you see it on Toyota's website, and you also see it when you do a search on Car Gurus or any one of those vehicle search websites. These hybrids are available in all-wheel drive, but when you go to build one on Toyota's website, it doesn't allow you to select a all-wheel drive hybrid Prius to build, which I thought was kind of weird, kind of adds some confusion. But if you like what you see here, you can get this in all-wheel drive. And horsepower, as you see it here with this front-wheel drive, it's 194 horses, but if you go with the all-wheel drive, it's 196. But around town, and even when you're doing a higher speed and you punch it, this thing pulls pretty well for what it is. But as you can hear, it genuinely sounds like a vacuum cleaner. This engine, it sounds like a Bizzle or a Hoover. Like it just... I would like them to quiet this down just a little bit more, because that's slightly undignified, but I think most Toyota owners are used to that noise by this point, so it is what it is. But the point is, the performance is genuinely pretty good here in the real world. There is a Prius Prime available, which is a plug-in hybrid, has even more horsepower, and it's even faster than this, but apparently it's sold out. You can't really get one. When I did a Car Guru search, there's about 650 of these hybrids available for sale, and there's about 280 Primes, but they might have already been accounted for, I'm not sure. But I don't think you can order a new Prius Prime from Toyota as of right now. But the Prius Prime, I mean, it's cool. It can do 44 miles of pure EV range, but I really don't think that's necessary for most people, because as you see it here with this model that I'm testing, these things get 52 mpg in the city and on the highway, but you can genuinely get close to 60 mpg with this. So I really don't think a plug-in hybrid is necessary here. You're getting phenomenal real-world fuel efficiency, while using regular fuel. I mean, that is tremendous. I mean, that's what the Prius is known for, right? But what I was really impressed by is the balance that Toyota has managed to strike between a compliant ride and really good handling dynamics. When I first got this car, I had my doubts about it because this thing is riding on these 195 wide tires. I was like, how is this thing going to drive? But I am really pleased with this car. The handling improvements that they've made has really shown. This thing goes around corners, no issues. It's actually fun to drive. There is some soul here, and you have a lot of feedback. You have a lot of satisfaction in driving this. You feel something when you drive it, and you know exactly what the car is doing at all times. You get a slight tire chirp, but it's totally fine. This car feels planted and secure when going around turns. The body roll is well contained when you're making your everyday left-hand, right-hand turns. Again, you get a slight tire chirp, but nobody's flipping over all over the place. You know, Toyota focusing on that lower center of gravity has truly helped. Brakes are good. The regenerative braking, that feels natural. Even at higher speeds, this car feels pretty stable. So the confidence that a family is going to have on a day-to-day basis is going to be excellent with this new Prius. So I'm very pleased with that. And at the same time, this car is not breaking your back. We have a strut suspension in the front, and we have a multi-link rear suspension. The car weighs around 3,200 pounds. So this car is overall proving to be a nice package as a daily commuter. But how is the refinement of this car? Well, we've already gone over the engine. You do get that slightly nasty noise from that four-cylinder, but also there is tire noise and wind noise present, but don't automatically attribute that to being a con, because the wind noise and the tire noise that this car produces, it's not exactly annoying. It just feels like it's part of the car, almost like a white noise in the background. It's like having a ceiling fan turned on in your house. It doesn't really bother you. You hear it, it's there, but it's not a big deal. Someone asked me a couple weeks ago when I tested the Honda Accord Hybrid, the new one, on how that compares to this new Prius. And really the answer to that is Honda and really all the other car companies, you know, Mazda, Hyundai, Kia, even Nissan, right? All of these car companies, they are trying to achieve this pseudo premium luxury type feel, and Toyota really isn't trying to achieve that. This feels like an economy car because it is, but also because Toyota isn't really trying to make this feel like a pseudo luxury car. None of their cars really feel like pseudo luxury. Whilst everyone else is chasing that premium feel, Toyota isn't. Perhaps the Crown has that more luxury-esque feel to it. I don't know. I haven't tried it. But regardless, as I stated before, the noises that this car makes, it feels like it's part of the car. It actually adds to the character of this car and adds to the fact that you feel something when you drive it, okay? When you go for that hyper luxury premium type feel, you feel very disconnected from the car. Like for instance, the Mazda products, or even that new Honda Accord Hybrid that I tested, right? Yes, that Accord Hybrid is technically a better car than this, but that vehicle felt truly soulless and dead to drive. I mean, you feel absolutely nothing driving the new Accord Hybrid. Is it a fine product? Is it good to drive? Of course it is. But when you get in a Toyota product, it can be the Corolla, the Camry, a RAV4, or this Prius. It doesn't really matter. These products have a little bit more of that feedback and lighthearted charisma about it. I truly have no qualms in daily driving this car. I really find it satisfactory. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about the interior segment next. All right, let's talk about the interior space of this new 2023 Toyota Prius. And I have to first start out with the seating position because it is so strange. We have this digital gauge cluster and this tiny steering wheel, which I like. That's perfectly fine. But the way the digital gauge cluster is positioned, I have to put the steering wheel all the way down just so I can see it. And that means the ideal hand position in this car is like a 10 and 2 for me. It's just weird. You get used to it. It's different. But it doesn't really pose a huge problem. The other thing is, yes, this car is very stylish from the outside, but I guess to get that sleek wedge-like styling in the front, we have almost a mile of plastic dashboard here, which is kind of excessive, but also this A-pillar, this creates a bit of a blind spot. You do have this little window right here that helps a little bit, but overall it's just different. Other than that, we have a pretty plastic interior here, but it's okay because it's laid out really well. Feels relatively solid in here. Because we have the limited trim, we have all the good features like the larger 12.3-inch infotainment screen. You can get this as an option with the XLE, but it's not necessary. The XLE and the LE, they'll come with an 8-inch screen, and all of these screens come with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, and it works seamlessly. I haven't had any issues with it. You still have totally separated climate control buttons and switches, and some of the features that sets apart the Limited from the XLE and lower trim LE is you get heated and cooled seats in the front. You can get heated seats as an option in the back. We also have here the JBL audio system that's only available with the limited trim level, and it genuinely sounds great, but you can't get it with the XLE or the LE. So if you love your music and you love this Prius, it might be in your interest to check out the limited because the bass is good. We have decent clarity here with this JBL. They finally tuned these JBL audio systems correctly in these new Toyota products, and I appreciate that. The seat comfort here is excellent. We have good lumbar support. The seats are supportive. To get that lower center of gravity to help this car drive well, this car does sit a little bit lower, and some of you might not really appreciate that. So just check that out for yourself if possible. We do have here one-touch up and down windows for all 4 windows, and we do have double pane glass here in the front. That's pretty impressive. And you have a decent amount of storage space here. I really like the center console. Got your 2 cup holders, a tray here to put your phone, and you can also lift up that tray and you have a quote-unquote secret compartment, hashtag secret compartment. You have all kinds of little Easter eggs like that laid out inside of this car. The wireless charging pad is brilliantly placed. I like how it's charging your phone, but at the same time it's keeping it out of sight and it's not distracting. You have a nice little gear shifter. You have your drive modes that you can put it in. I personally just like to drive in the normal mode, and you can take the traction control off if you want to. Center armrest is a decent size, and the glove box is primarily taken up by the books right now. We also have here the fixed glass roof with the limited. I think it's an option with the XLE. So you have basically 2 sunroofs in this car. And with that, let's go ahead and let's talk about the rear seating space, which really isn't bad. I am 5'11". I can certainly sit behind myself. Again, the previous generation Prius products, even though they look weird and they're bulbous, they were really practical. They offered a little bit more headroom and even a little bit more legroom, I feel like. Here, some of that has been compromised to give you this more sleek design profile and better driving dynamics, but it's still practical. You can still fit adults in the back. We have the optional heated rear seats back there, and you can fold down those rear seats, and that makes this car extremely practical because we have here the hatchback in the rear. So you have almost SUV-like space in the back in this relatively compact sized car. It's only 181 inches long total. You can easily fit this inside of a garage, but with that hatch and with the folding rear seats, you can fit a lot of things in here. Now, you don't have a spare tire in the back. You have this fix-a-flat kit. But other than that, this is a very nice package. I enjoyed my time with it. It's a good car. You got some decent features. Again, stick with that XLE for around $32,000. You can get the all-wheel drive. It's an option. I think it adds like $1,500 to the price of the car. And there's around 650 of these Priuses available for sale throughout the country. And about half of them are all-wheel drive models. So if you need that, it's available to you. But let's go ahead and let's conclude. All right, concluding thoughts on this new Toyota Prius. As you can see, I am a fan of this car. I enjoyed driving it. I thought it was fun, and I think this is a huge upgrade over the previous generation Prius products with better driving dynamics, definitely better looks, better interior tech, all of that without really sacrificing fuel economy, practicality, or any of that. Now, for some of you, you might not enjoy the lower seating position. It can be a little bit more difficult to get in and out of this car. This driving position might seem awkward to some, but trust me, you get used to that. It's not really a big deal. And I didn't really mention this during the interior segment, but I would like to mention it here. You have some excellent safety tech here, and all of that safety tech is standard and it works well. Okay, you got the blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, the forward collision detection, pedestrian detection, all that stuff works extremely well, and it's not weird, and you can fine tune it in the infotainment here. It's not a problem. And new Toyota products do seem to be doing very well in a crash test, so I like to see that as well. But really, should you buy this car? Personally, I think yes. You get an XLE for around 32, 33 grand. I think you're doing a great job with that. But could you save some money and perhaps buy something else? Yes, of course. You can really look into the Corolla, both the gasoline powered model and the hybrid. A hybrid Corolla is available with all-wheel drive as well. You get an SE trim level of that. It's going to be around 28 grand. You get an SE gas only powered Corolla. It's around $25,000. So those numbers reflect the sedans. That car is going to lack the hatchback practicality, and it's also going to be a slower vehicle as well, but it's going to drive about the same, and you're saving a lot of money going with the Corolla. Again, overall, this Prius is the better package. If you can afford it, definitely go with this car. You're never losing with this. These are the types of cars that you can buy with your eyes closed, especially new, and you don't really have to worry about much. You don't like it, you can literally trade it in and you get excellent resale value for it. And that's definitely something that Toyota has over its peers. Like, yeah, that Honda Accord hybrid, that's cool. It is technically a better vehicle. It's pulling off those more luxurious vibes, but this brand is perfect for those who aren't super savvy and they don't want to do a ton of research on a car. They're not like car experts and they don't really care about getting the absolute optimal driving experience or refinements. You can buy into this brand and not have to worry. Financially, it's hard to lose. Yeah, cars are depreciating, rotting liabilities, but with the Toyota, that depreciation and the rotting, it's a little bit slower compared to its rivals. While not being terrible, I mean, again, as I mentioned before, there is a connection and true feedback that you get while driving these Toyota cars. If you get a chance to test drive this, I'm sure you will like it too. So yes, it's worth buying. It's not really worth leasing though. The interest rate on these leases, as of right now, it's around 7.5%. So that's pointless. I would say finance this for like 36 months, pay it off as quickly as you can, and you should be satisfied. So that's my thoughts on the new Prius. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your love and support. Thanks again for watching. Take care and goodbye.